curated, and always fun Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
He was covered in grease, blood, and peppermint oil. That is the holy triad, the
My new boyfriend.
What?
skinny dipping Florida man covered in grease, blood, and peppermint oil, ultimately arrested for burglary. A naked burglar is covered in wheel-bearing grease, peppermint oil, and his own blood. And he was caught jumping into a stranger's pool. Blake Tachman is his name, 34, likely under the
There's never been
influence
anything like this.
of unknown substances as he carried out his wet and wild middle of the night run. 2 a.m. they got the call, Florida cops did, that there was a burglary in progress. And it was quoted over the radio. You could hear the cops saying, "I got one running going westbound behind the fence. He's naked." And the man was lying in the starfish position, the favorite position among those being pursued by the cops, as he, left face full.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to show the pictures because obviously I don't want to risk anything on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He's naked, but the pool looked very green and dirty, and then he somehow ended up on a trampoline in the starfish position, which
Yeah.
is
Which is the,
quite the scene.
yeah, that's the Florida arrest position. Assume the position. "You're lucky you're not dead, homie," said the homeowner who called the cops. Tachman allegedly broke into 2 homes before the cops found him enjoying the backyard trampoline and pool of the neighbor. A stolen SUV slams into a building after the dude who had stolen the SUV jumps out. It was Daytona Beach Shores. Michael Barr, 20 years old. Do you have his booking photo? He is quite the dude. Arrested after being tracked. He could be a rocker. He looks like he could either be a rocker or a guy who stole an SUV and took the cops on a joyride.
Yeah, he has like Machine Gun Kelly vibes.
Thank you. That's exactly it. Police say that he told, Barr told the cops that his friends had left him in Miami, so he hitchhiked to Kissimmee and stole the SUV, drove it to Volusia County. Well, it's a wild idea, but he got off at the Dunlawton exit to look for a Wi-Fi.
Wild idea, but it just might work.
The Dunlawton exit is, I guess, where he got off to look for a Wi-Fi connection. That's when Daytona Beach Shores police spotted him, and they gave pursuit, as is said. Police said that he then jumped out of the vehicle while it was still rolling, and they went after him, and one secured the vehicle. The vehicle hit a building, according to cops. What was he charged with, you're wondering? Well, grand theft of a motor vehicle, fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement, unlawful carrying of a concealed firearm, resisting an officer without violence, driving with a suspended or revoked license, and leaving the scene of a crash with property damage. Congratulations. That runs the card. And enjoy the Volusia County Jail. Always lovely this time of year. Florida.
He looks
yes?
pretty good considering he jumped out of a moving vehicle. I'm assuming at a fast rate. Like
I
feel like
agree.
you really get messed up there.
If he showed up to date my daughter, I would say, you're in rock and roll, or you're a drummer, or...
Yeah,
And
you
he-
just have to ask what it actually says on his neck, though. I can't. It says like shoot
I thought it was
by faith or something.
something
like
by
that.
faith. Shoot by faith is what I thought
Shoot
I saw.
by
Yeah, that
faith,
was
yeah,
sort of
maybe.
weird. I don't know. I'm sure he can tell you a great story about it. A Florida woman is in trouble. She has driven through the front of a UPS store. This is in Santa Rosa County, Florida. A 60-year-old woman from Jay drove her Mini Cooper through the front of a UPS store on Highway 90 in Pace. The customer, who was, I think, close to being hit, actually did suffer minor injuries in all of this from glass and debris, was a 35-year-old woman, is a 35-year-old woman. The same woman prior to the crash driving the Mini Cooper and the 36-year-old woman driving a van backed into each other in the parking lot. So she was having issues. And then if you're looking on YouTube, you'll see what happened. The Mini Cooper, yeah. It was a quiet day at the UPS store till a Mini Cooper crashed through. The Mini Cooper, the 60-year-old, put the car in drive and pressed the accelerator, causing it to travel over the curb and into the UPS store.
That lady in red who was just about to walk out the door reacted very quickly, jumping back. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I think they said there were minor injuries, but it looks as though she avoided the worst. Yeah. A Florida jury has found McDonald's partially liable after a 4-year-old suffered second-degree burns from piping hot chicken nuggets. Yeah, the jury found both the franchisee and McDonald's had failed to produce instructions which would have prevented the child's injury. The girl's parents sued, and the franchisee and McDonald's were both named in the suit. The girl's parents sued for $15,000. This suit has ground on for a while. And this 4-year-old girl was burned by a hot chicken McNugget which dropped on her thigh. The parents say that she was left disfigured and scarred. Well, the jury found both the franchisee and McDonald's had failed to, as I say, produce instructions for the food that would have prevented the girl's injury. And the award will be granted as a result of this court action.
I guess the mom...
Not quite the Happy Meal there.
No, it wasn't. I guess the mom just handed the bag to her kid without checking it first, as you would, because you would assume that would be normal temperature, and it wasn't.
Yeah, she heard her 4-year-old scream, and she turned around, and in the back seat, there was this hot chicken nugget lodged between her daughter's thigh and a seatbelt, and that remained in contact with her skin long enough, the parents allege, that there were second-degree burns involved. So that's how that happened.
That's a hot nug.
Who knew? It's so dangerous, you know. But this, by the way, I'll give them credit. I mean, and I don't mean to look at the story at all skeptically. I mean, if this really did happen, you know, they took on big McD's and they won in a court system that can grind you down oftentimes if you don't have the, yeah, so again. A Florida man is pleading guilty today to threatening poll workers. Faces up to 5 years in federal prison for threatening election workers during the August 2022 primary. Joshua David Lubitz, 38, of Sunrise, Florida, pleading guilty in Miami federal court to threatening election workers.
My bad. I'm sorry.
According to court documents, Lubitz was at a Sunrise Senior Center polling station when he heard counting election workers, when he was heard, I think there's a misprint. He was heard, hang on a second, hold on a second.
He was heard hollering.
He was, I guess, he was yelling at them, should I kill them one by one or should I blow the place up?
Awful.
That Lubitz said. He said, my dad would love this. It would be easy. This would be nice and sweet. So he's a pretty despicable guy. As Lubitz drove away from the polling site, he extended his arm toward two poll workers and made a threatening gesture toward them with his hand. And now he will await sentencing. Sentencing is scheduled for later this summer in July. But, yeah. I mean,
volunteer workers. Just
what's happening to poll workers? It's crazy. I mean, this is, you know, often seniors, people with extra time who want to help the process along and keep it legitimate. And this is the new America. They're threatened. They're doxxed. It's brutal. All right, give me some Alligator. Alligator scares woman tubing down a Florida river. An alligator catching some rays in Fort White, Florida. gave 3 women quite a scare as they approached the relaxing reptile. Here it is. Here's the video.
Jessica? Jessica! It's Alligator! Oh, it's him.
It's on a log.
Jessica, heads up, sister.
It's on a log. It's looking right at them. It's not sleeping.
Oh my God!
Jessica's just floating right by.
I've never seen a gator on the instant talking ever!
She's never seen anything like it.
this.
Yeah. Wow, they seem to be enjoying it.
There's never been anything like this.
It's all laughs until the thing launches at you.
Right now.
Maybe tubing in this area is not the wisest choice.
Yeah. Alligators normally go into the water when approached to get away from humans, according to alligator experts. Chances are she was a mama gator protecting her nest that was close to her somewhere. That's what you got to worry about. You never know when it's a mama gator protecting the kids, and if they feel threatened, they have no choice but to launch. A wild video, which we will share, shows a 5-foot gator roaming storm water pipes underneath central Florida. You always hear about this, that Florida is infested to the point that underground and in the pipes, there are tons of gators, and they can even come up through your toilet.
Ew. No.
But there it is. This video again showing this 5-foot gator that is cruising around Lockwood Boulevard near Riverside. This is a robotic camera to get under the road. They use this robotic camera to figure out what was causing some potholes above the ground. And it turned out to be a full-blown alligator. We're right up close to it. Look at that. 5 feet.
I don't think
It's
the alligator
huge.
likes the camera very much. He's like, get away.
Yeah.
Wow.
The city leaders say, let this be your friendly reminder not to play in storm pipes. Wow, that's great video if you're, it's really educational. It reminds you of the whole world that's going on in these storm pipes and these gators that are down there. If you're
Yeah, and there's that one Florida woman who got caught 3 times in the storm drain as well.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
storm pipes are must be a thing in Florida.
Yeah. Anyway, a little piece of the video is there on our show.
cool.
If you're listening on the podcast, you can check it out. A foul odor leads police to a Florida man hiding his mom's decomposing body. Ah, there you go.
What?
A Florida man arrested after the stench of his mother's decomposing body alerted cops to the bloated corpse that he was hiding inside her home. Justin Carver, 36 years old, charged with failing to report the death of his 55-year-old mother, Lainey. She had filed a no-contact order against her son weeks before her death. I guess he was kind of a troubled dude. Police arrived at the Carvers' Punta Gorda home just before 5 p.m. A concerned friend told officers that Lainey's phone had been directed to voicemail every day that week, and they were concerned. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office deputies noticed the foul odor emanating from the southwestern Florida house and flies congregating on the door. They got no response to the front door and back doors. Officers searched the perimeter of the house, and they noticed Justin Carver laying down in a bed inside. Only when the cops began rapping on the window did he then open the door. Carver immediately closed the door behind him before he sat down on the top stair of the doorway and was staring at the ground. The deputies promptly clocked Carver's evasive behavior, asked him to open up the inside of the house, but he tried to keep them outside. Carver eventually relented, let the officers inside. That's where they found the mom's body on her bedroom floor between the bed and the wall, according to documents. I'll leave other descriptions about the body out just for the sake of good taste. He looks like a troubled guy, wouldn't you say, Albert? I don't know the, I think it's a, I don't know if you can show the,
Yeah, let me grab it real quick. I'm working on our polls as we speak. Here.
Oh,
There
I
we
see. Of
go.
course, we're polling for the favorite online.
Murphy writes, she's the last woman he'll ever touch.
Yes, there he is.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got a Manson-ish kind of look, you know. But he is now behind bars. Sadly, his mother is no longer. And finally, a Florida man watched adult films in public with the speaker at full volume. Residents of the Palms of Clearwater Development were having a wild Sunday night because they witnessed a bizarre scene that prompted them to call Florida cops. Christopher Harris, 51 years old, a resident of the Palms, had apparently decided to put on a solo performance by the pool. Much to the bewilderment of witnesses,
It was wrong, it was stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
Florida cops were summoned to the development Sunday night after a witness reported seeing a man pull his pants down and beginning to masturbate to a pornographic video on his personal cell phone.
What he's got going here is a situation.
As per the arrest affidavit, Harris was found to have connected a Bluetooth speaker to the video and started playing it aloud while engaging in self-gratification near the pool. Well, it's a wild idea, but
Nice.
yeah.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
As police proceeded to apprehend him, how would you like to have that detail? Harris reportedly admitted to, quote, playing with himself and said that when he gets intoxicated, he does stupid
Receive the royal scepter.
He was arrested, misdemeanor charge, exposing his sexual organs to the public. My friends, we have to pick a favorite. You have chosen a favorite online, but before you decide, Kim, let me just remind everybody, it's like picking between children, honestly. We love them all, but we must pick one. Skinny dipping Florida man covered in grease, blood, and peppermint oil. The stolen SUV dude who slams into the building after he jumped out of his stolen SUV. The Florida woman who drove through the UPS store. The Florida jury finding that McDonald's is partially liable after the 4-year-old girl suffered second-degree burns from the piping hot chicken nugget. The Florida man pleading guilty to threatening poll workers. Alligator scaring the woman, tubing down the Florida River. The 5-foot gator roaming the stormwater pipes beneath central Florida. The foul odor leading cops to the Florida man's hiding mom's decomposing body, which he had been hiding. And the Florida man watching an adult film in public with speaker at full volume because it was connected to his Bluetooth. We must choose a favorite. Kim McAllister, what is yours?
I have to say the complete lack of awareness of one's surroundings with Jessica floating down the river or the in the swamp. First of all, swimming in a Florida swamp, bad idea. Second of all, someone's yelling your name while you're floating down the swamp. You got to pay attention. Yeah, that's.
Well,
I'd be willing all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved as well. How about you, Albert?
I wanted to go Gator stories, but, you know, in sake of just being different, you know, the last story is the most Florida one that we got this week, unfortunately. But so,
yeah,
I mean, putting it on speaker and doing that thing only in Florida. I saw a couple comments only in Florida. This is literally only in Florida that this would happen.
It really is a very Florida, and it's gross. What was the online poll?
That one was the favorite. It's 48% of the vote. And
but what did it beat out?
A pair of gators, the pair of car crashes into buildings, and the Skinny Dipper. Okay. So the Gator stories are in third place here, and Skinny Dipper, or second place, and Skinny Dipper's in third. I
will tell you that I think that, yeah, the Gator thing is so Florida, but I'm going to go for the adult film guy who got drunk and is pleasuring himself by the pool, and the video is playing over the Bluetooth speaker. Real. I mean, that's just pretty brutal. I don't mean to laugh. It's gross, but there you have it. That's Friday Fabulous Florida for today.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
Albert, you are the distinguished producer of this program. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.